And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm a big fan of Marvel Legendary, the deck building game, and I'm a big fan of Spider-Man, so I'm very pleased to take a look at Legendary Spider-Man Homecoming. Now this is based on the new movie, and in fact it's the first time that Marvel Legendary has left the pages of the comic books and gone to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So in this game, instead of having art drawn on all the cards, it is still shots from the movies. So I was a little like, well, how's that going to work? We'll see. And I wasn't sure there was enough characters in that movie to make a full set, even if it is one of the smaller sets. Still, I really like the game. Let's take a look at this expansion. Okay, so we're going to start out here by looking at the villains. So the first set is the Salvagers, and I think it's hilarious that they called this Shocker 1 and Shocker 2. I mean, I figured this guy was Shocker, but maybe this guy just never had a name. We also have the Tinkerer. Now, a couple things I want to notice here. They have Striker. Striker is a new special ability. When Striker shows up, they essentially get one attack for each Master Strike that's either in the KO pile or next to the Mastermind, as long as it's been played, essentially. So this guy is actually a 4, but can get much more powerful as the game goes by. Anyway, we have Tinkerer here, and then we have the Hybrid Alien Tech. So this is actually, I guess, a villain. In fact, the other set is all a bunch of tech. It's just the Vulture Tech. So I guess this is meant to be where the Vulture, instead of there being villains in the city, it's the Vulture swooping around and stuff with all this different tech. You'll notice this has Wall Crawl. Wall Crawl was from previous Spider-Mans, but whenever you have Wall Crawl and you get a hero with Wall Crawl, you put him on top of your deck. There's also Danger Sense. So when you fight this guy here, when you fight the villain, you get Danger Sense. Danger Sense 3 means draw the top 3 cards off the bad guy deck. And the villain deck, and each one it's a villain, you get +1 attack for, and then you can put them back in any order. All right, so let's take a look at the first Mastermind, Adrian Toomes. He's a double striker, which means he adds 2 for each Mastermind, so he can be pretty powerful. And in fact, just like the previous sets now, they made a more powerful version, an Epic Mastermind, where here he's a triple striker. Also, his villains get escape ability when a Master Strike shows up. If you notice, the Mastermind tactic cards have different pictures in the background than the Mastermind itself has for Adrian Toomes. The other Mastermind in this set is Vulture. Yeah, I know, it's the same guy. But anyhow, he also has a striker, and his Master Strike, he can give wounds to different people, and then he can upgrade to an Epic 1-2, and just like the Adrian Toomes, he has different pictures for his stuff too. There's more schemes in this set. Scavenge alien weaponry here. Basically, you just have a bunch of henchmen who are going to be running through. They're smugglers. More villains that are trying to escape. Fairy Disaster, you need to rescue a bunch of heroes. We have Distract the Hero, where whenever a twist comes up, you need to score some victory points, or else the twists are going to be a pain. Here you actually put stacks of cards out in the Washington Monument, and you're searching them for bystanders. Speaking of bystanders, there's an extra bystander here which lets you put a card that costs 2 or less from the top of the deck into your hand, which works mostly for Spider-Man sets. Speaking of heroes, the first hero is Peter Parker Homecoming. Now he has Wall Crawl. Again, remember when you recruit Wall Crawl, it goes to the top of your deck. And his cards are all full of Danger Sense. This one's a Danger Sense 4. You also notice this Coordinate card here. Coordinate card, this is the first time it's in Marvel Legendary, but it was in Legendary Encounter games before. But essentially, you can play this on someone else's turn, discard it, and give them the effect of this thing, as long as they are allowed to do that. So here he has Wall Crawl and Danger Sense 2. The next hero is High Tech Spider-Man. So there's 2 of the same villain. Of course, we have 2 of the same hero. Here he has Wall Crawl Coordinate. He has +3 that's used bowling against a Mastermind or villains on the rooftops or streets. So that's kind of thematic. And this one here, Wall Crawl and Danger Sense 3. Then we have Tony Stark, who apparently in this set just walks around in his suit mostly. A coordinate here, a 1-1, which is not bad. Here's another coordinate, Danger Sense 2, so he kind of helps people out. Apparently, Tony Stark also has danger sense. And his big card is this one. It's the only one where he's in a suit. But it's kind of a weird one. If you give this card to someone else, then all the victory points they get will come to you instead. The next hero is a group of people, Peter's allies, which includes Ned and MJ, which are kind of some very basic cards. We also have Liz and then May Parker, who's the big one here. Coordinate, each villain gets -2. The next time you fight the mastermind, it gets -2. And it's also 5 buying. Liz is more interesting because when you coordinate a card to another player, you can reveal to draw 2 cards instead of 1. Actually, where's this one I think is interesting. Michelle lets you fight a villain or mastermind using purchasing power rather than attacking. The last hero in this set is Happy Hogan, who also has danger sense because I guess he's using a computer. And coordinates, he has Striker, which is interesting, and double Striker. So he's using the bad guy's master strikes against him. So that's kind of an interesting thing. And that's basically the cards that are in this set. Like I said, I wondered, about the stills. I used to accept stills when I played Star Wars, collectible card game, and having still pictures from movies and games. And it didn't bother me, but as time goes by, I don't like it as much. Now, they did a good job with this one. In fact, a lot of the pictures you could mix with the other one and you wouldn't even notice. But it's kind of a aesthetic appeal, right? I don't think these look as good, but the fact is, when you mix them with the artwork, it just looks different. Now, I'm guessing at this point that Upper Deck is going to be making a whole lot of these expansions that work with a lot of the different Marvel universe. I expect any day now to hear one made of Thor, which has a gazillion characters. And that's another problem with this one. Okay, so we have 2 masterminds. Ooh, who are they? Vulture and Adrian Toomes. That's the same guy. Marvel Universe has all these masterminds. Calling Vulture a mastermind is kind of pushing things anyway, right? In this movie, maybe more so than in the comics. But to have 2 of them? I get that there wasn't any other big villain in that movie, really, but I don't know. Then you have Spider-Man, and then there's 2 Spider-Men in here, and then a group of people who are his teenage friends who kind of helped him in the movie, but would you say that the group of teenage friends is equivalent to, say, Captain America or the Hulk or Spider-Man? I just wasn't very impressed with the choices. This movie did not have a lot of characters, and you can tell in the set because they're scraping anything they can. Even the Vulture and having his equipment be villains that you stop and fight, it doesn't make a lot of thematic sense. And that's a big problem for me in this set because I want, the lack of artwork and the fact that it doesn't make thematic sense. There's things I did like. I like that each of the schemes have different artwork. That's something that they should have done a long time ago. And I like some of the new abilities. But again, that's something that really bugs me. Spider Sense is like the main new ability in this set. The Spider-Man Homecoming movie never mentioned Spider Sense. Barely took a look at it at all. If it's there, it's kind of in the background. It's almost like they took Spider Sense away from Spider-Man. I don't know if they did or not, but then you use it as the main mechanism here and then give it to characters that aren't Spider-Man? The cards themselves play okay. Nothing spectacular about them. They're decent, they're good, but I won't be keeping this expansion because it doesn't fit with the rest of them, and the thematic disconnect here, something that I've railed on in the past for like DC Deck Builder, I think is more obvious in this set. So this is one, I think some people are going to enjoy this, but it is not for me. That's Legendary Spider-Man Homecoming. Great movie, though. Dice Tower Judgment, not for me.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!